All right. Anything else from homework stuff? Homework is happening, right? I got a few. By the way, in case you are unaware, you can certainly turn in Section 1.1 homework by itself. Section 1.2 homework by itself. I don't need all of a chapter together. I don't want you to put all the homework together and give it to me all on the day of the test, unless you absolutely have to, right? Give them a little wheelbarrow here on test days. You guys okay back there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else from homework stuff or general things about homework? Okay.
Is there a review for the quiz or anything?
Quizzes there's no real review for. Quizzes are very nuts and bolts. If you're able to do the homework, you should be able to do the quiz.
Okay.
Oh, sweet.
I'm going to staple it real quick.
That would be useful.
Oh, wait. You just want it stapled normally, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to fuck this up.
We're good? Yeah. So far, so good. Thanks, man. Yeah, gold star. Anything else from homework, or did I get your question right? Okay. All right. So I think last time, the very last thing we did, we didn't quite get that histogram created, if I remember correctly. We sort of had a frequency table set up and a relative frequency table. I want to, of course, as I'm saying that, I'm remembering that I was going to go and get the video and take a look. Somebody, hopefully you got the notes. What were our classes we ended up with last time?
15 to 21. 15 to 21.
15 to 21?
22 to 28. 29 to 35. 36 to 42. And 43 to 49.
Cool. You guys all have this from last time in your notes? The frequencies.
2, 4, 2, 5, and 2.
All right, I like it. And then the relative frequency, which is really just another name for percentage.
13, 13.3. And then 33.3. 33.3.
All right, cool. And of course, these should all add up close to 100. They might not be exactly 100 if you round. If you just happen to round a bunch of these up, then it might go a little over 100. But if you get 103%, something's wrong. If you get 97%, something's wrong. It should be decently close to 100. All right. How are we doing so far? Which only makes sense. If you got all the data up there, it should be 100% of the data represented. So the last thing, and there's one more thing. Let me see. This isn't that big of a deal for me, but it's in the homework. It's one called Cumulative Frequency. I'm not going to make you graph this. They talk about it in the homework, and it just accumulates as you go through the classes. So I start with 13.3, and then when you add in the next class, that would be a nice 40%. And then you add in the next class, that would be at 53.3, and then you add in the next class, and that would be 86.6 roughly. And in the next class, you get 99.9, but of course that's close enough to 100. Yes?
So besides that, like cumulative frequencies on the homework, are we going to use that for like quizzes and tests?
Yeah, I on this handout we're going to do today, I have this there.
Oh, okay.
It exists. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, which you can translate into, I'm not going to really ask you about it on quiz or test, if that makes you feel better. You're going to have to be able to do it in the homework, but it just involves adding the next number. Not a big deal. Yes?
Does relative frequency have to be percentage, or can it be like decimal?
Technically, it could be a decimal, but percentages are just a little easier to look at and think about.
Can you leave it as a fraction?
No. Yeah, sorry. Don't leave them as a fraction, yeah. Just because. Yeah. Anything else about this so far? I mean, this is what we did last time. Just to remind you guys, well, how did we figure out the class width? What did we do to figure that out? We took the range, divided by the number of classes. I like it. So what I like to do is on a quiz, I don't tell you how many classes to use. Pretty much for the size sample I'm going to give you, you can always use 5 or 6. Cool, I like it. Don't use 8 or 9 or 10. That's for larger samples. All right, so this pretty much captures what we did last time. Adding that one little thing on there is going to be in the homework, but it's not a huge deal to me. Let's do this histogram. I think I sort of sketched it out, what it would look like, but what does this actually look like exactly? Now here's where you start to realize that the way I did these, the way I showed you the other way to do these, for example, this would have been 43 less or equal to x less than 50. Okay, so here's where that kind of comes in. And this is where I talked about our boundaries versus our limits. Right, this is the limit, this is my boundary. Don't step in my boundary. I can't graph 15, 21, 22 because then there would be a gap. And a gap would represent to a person looking at the graph an empty class, like there's nobody there. And that's sort of misleading. So I have to, if I use this way, I've got to use these class boundaries. It just goes up and down by a half. And when I graph it then, when I put it on the graph, they're going to slam together. 21.5, 21.5, so forth. And the nice thing is, once you get the first one, the class width is 7. You just keep adding 7 on top of that. How are we doing so far? Is that decent? Now real quick, if you did it this way, the first class would have been 15 to 22. So I would put 15, 22, 29. Yay, I don't need class boundaries, class limits, because they're all defined here. The class limit and the class boundaries are the same. They'll already lie right on top of each other. Okay. I like it. How high do I have to go here? I'm going to make, let's say this, I'm going to make a relative frequency histogram. Well, what's the largest relative frequency? Yeah, 33, right? So 35, I like it. And I can go by 5s. I think we established that last time. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 30. You can do it whatever accent you want to. And then if I keep going here, this would be 21.5. Just keep adding 7, because that's your class width. That's nice. So if you can't read my writing down there, just add 7. You'll be okay. So this math isn't too complicated yet. You just have to remember the steps. So don't let the math be a problem here. So how tall will this first class be? Yeah, 13.3. So you just kind of guesstimate 13.3 is about right there. The next class goes up to 27 almost. 27 roughly. And then 13 again. And then 33. Whee! And then 13 again. I like it. So some of your rectangles can actually be trapezoids. It's fine. We're doing this by hand, so it's okay. Just don't forget your labels. This one would be relative frequency. And this one is going to be what? Who remembers? What was that? This is where I took people's ages, right? I like it. Here's. Just in case it's not clear. I like it. So the very first thing I want to do, now that we've officially got that finished out, is I want you guys, let's see if you guys can do this. There's a side that says 160 histogram. That's the side I want you to work on. The other side is referencing stuff we haven't done yet. So maybe don't do that side. The one about father's heights. So this is directly from the survey you guys took. I think almost everybody got that survey done, so that's much appreciated. I still have to put some stuff together to show you. Like for the random number you picked, I got something nifty to show you about how the human brain works. So let's see if that comes out the way I think it should. So work on the side, that's all about father's heights, making a histogram.